So in this video, I'm sitting down with one of our students, Burhan, who started with us, and he really started in the beginning of January. So it's been about 30 to 45 days. It's towards the end of February now. And he started with really no knowledge in the industry in real estate. He was working in IT, and you see what we get into here, but he's done about $30,000 in profit, has a few more deals that he's working on all since. He's been sending campaigns for about 30 days now. So we kind of go through his experience and what he's seen working with us. But let's get right into it. Before you joined into Jackson and our program, what were you currently doing? What kind of got you intrigued with the stuff we were working on with land flipping, and just kind of your take on that?
Yeah. So it all started back in August or September. I just like started seeing a lot of like TikToks about just like wholesaling in general because I always really wanted to get into real estate, but I never really got out of my comfort zone. I'm like, I was working IT jobs. So I'm like, all right, I'll just stick to those for now, and
Yep.
I'll start learning. So from August to like I would say the end of November, I was just like just looking at videos and just learning, not really actually doing anything. And I believe at the end of November, I went to Australia, and that's when we actually first talked because I
Yep.
came across a lot of your videos, and we chatted before, and then that's just the time we actually got to connect.
And then you
Then
started sending campaigns, I think, in what, January? Very beginning of January.
Jan January 9th
Okay.
was the first day, and then up until today, like I've missed 2 weeks because I was traveling. So for 2 weeks, I didn't really set a
So
whole lot of
you've really been
campaigns.
doing it for about a month, you'd say?
A month, yeah, I would say a month, a whole month, yeah. And yeah, I saw. I mean, I tried doing like properties and stuff, but it was just too much, too complicated.
Like
And
houses in the past.
yeah, like I had like five lots, five houses. I say lots and everything now. I had five houses locked up, and I didn't sell any of them. And then that sort of like discouraged me. But at the same time, when I saw like your TikToks and stuff, and you talked about the model, it just all made sense because it was just so
Yeah.
simple. It did not seem complicated at all. So I'm like, it's worth a shot.
And
I have to
especially
give
when
it a
we talk
shot.
about the builder side of things with selling the properties,
Yeah,
what's your take on that
yeah,
now that you've kind of been in it for a month on selling to the
yeah.
builders compared to selling properties?
It's so much easier. It's so much simpler. Um, you again with properties, sometimes you're selling to different people because not a lot of people are looking to buy like bulks
Yeah,
of properties, but land is different. Like you can sell 20 lots to the same guy
exactly.
in 6 months or 2 months or whatever. It all depends on what your builder is looking for. So the probability of selling is a lot higher, is what I see, right?
And
Um,
what made you kind of take the action step of actually joining? What kind of pushed you over the edge to actually go ahead and do this? Because I'm sure you've seen stuff like this of what we're doing or something similar in the
yeah.
past. Like what made you actually go ahead and want to do that and work with us?
Uh, I did. So I've seen there's everybody is starting their own like discords and communities, right? I tried out a couple, but again, they were not as focused on students as they were more focused on making their money kind of
Yeah,
thing. And then for me, again, communication is the key. The way you guys communicated was like I was able to communicate whatever questions I had to you guys, which sort of like allowed me to be like, okay, I can get help here. Like if I need help for anything, I know I can get help right away. So that's a thing. I feel like that's such a big thing when you're starting off and you're not knowing anything. You
100%.
need to because sometimes yeah, there could be dumb questions that you can just search up, but in the beginning you're just like your mind is boggling. You have so many things to process. So
Right.
like sometimes you just need to ask a couple of questions. So that's something sort of like made me want to be like, okay, like again, you guys explained the model that you guys have, the process, and it was just like straightforward. I felt like there's no better way to make money. Like
Yeah,
it's
no,
so simple.
yeah,
It's
I
so
agree.
simple.
It's
Like
so simple, and that's the thing too is there's
yeah,
like people think there's a lot of steps and a lot that goes into it. And when I explain
yeah,
or when Jackson explains it, they're like, "There's no way it's that easy." Like from
yeah.
your take
I
on it,
even
once you learn the
yeah.
premise, like what do you think on that?
Yeah, I mean, even some of my friends now that I'm telling them about vacant lands and all that. In the beginning, they were like, "Oh, all right, whatever," But now that when I told them, oh, I just closed this deal, I'm making this much, and they're
Yeah,
like, oh
let's
wow,
let's let's
oh
talk about
wow,
some of
okay,
those. So you got one,
yeah,
you were telling me you got one closing Friday, right? This Friday.
yeah. Friday in Arizona City, yes.
So
That's
what's the
almost,
profit on that? I know you got it at 25, sold it at 29. We talked them down, I remember.
yeah,
And so what's the profit on that one? It's about
a
2,000.
profit, yeah, about 1,800 on
Okay.
that one. And then Hawaii is somewhere I wanted to explore.
Yeah, this is another
So
thing I want to touch on. So you always took the
yeah,
approach, and I saw this as soon as you joined with us, as you were going to try
right,
more unsaturated markets, because people always ask the question of, do you
yeah,
guys only do Florida? Can you only do one state and stuff like that? And most
right,
people just go and take that approach. You kind of went
yeah,
everywhere, which I was curious to see how it played out. And obviously now
yeah,
you're doing these builders in Hawaii and you have these big deals, which we'll touch on. But what have
right.
like what was your take on that? And what's your take on can you do different states other than Florida? Because I'm curious to hear your thoughts. I mean, you've done it
So
in the
yeah,
past month.
again, starting off, yeah, my first week, all the campaigns I set were in Florida because I saw like it was like the lots are similar there. It's easy to come, and we know people are buying there. But at the same time, I knew there's so much like there are a lot of people that are doing this now. There's not only just me or like five other guys. There are hundreds of people that are doing this now. So that's like the starting market. That's where everybody wants to start, right? Which means there is more competition, and sometimes like people when they're starting early, they sometimes offer more, which makes the buyer think their
Which is
property
just
is
a
worth
different
more.
approach. Like you see Matt
Yeah,
who's in one of the most concentrated areas of Florida. He's pumping out deals. It's just a
yeah,
different approach with the sellers because you have to kind of negotiate
yeah,
and do a little bit smaller deals compared to
yeah,
like these deals we'll touch on that you're doing in Hawaii are a little bit larger spreads, right? So it's just
right,
an
yeah.
approach.
Yeah, so then I was like, I wanted to find my own market, and I think there was one of the sessions that we were having, and Jackson just said something about Hawaii, and then I'm like, oh, Hawaii, let me check it out, let me check it out, let me check what's there. So I just went and I set a campaign for all three islands, and I just start the next morning before I even talked to anybody. I just started calling the builders. I'm like, all right, what's happening? I was only able to get to like two builders. One of them was like, we'll buy anything in this specific area in Hawaii for this much. I'm like, okay, cool. I was actually very close to getting 100K spread in
Really?
Hawaii. Yeah, I had this guy. Everything was ready. You just had to sign. But I think because a lot of people started
100K
reaching
profit?
out. Yeah, because he was selling four lots at 45 to me. And I had my builder wanted it at 70. So that's like 25K each. It was just like it just didn't work out. But I knew like if this didn't work out, and there's more. So I kept hitting that market. So now I have two in Hawaii that are going to escrow.
Yep. So you got
And
the one you actually partnered with somebody in the program on the first one, right? You
yeah,
partnered
so
with Cole.
cool, exactly. So that's what happened. My first one I actually locked up,
And you
which did not
guys, that was
sell.
total what, a $9,000 profit?
Yeah, it's a total of 9,000.
And when's
And
that
then
closing?
and like we didn't get the date yet. They started the progress, the process for title and everything. So I'll have to check with Cole because he's
Probably
the
about
guy
three, four
connecting
weeks.
with. Yeah, they told me that it could be 25 days or less. So
Sweet.
hopefully within next month. So that happened. Cole brought me a deal, and then very next day I locked up another deal. And I don't want to jinx it, but we have something else coming up as well in Hawaii. So it's like we're bringing the builder a few
And
more
that
deals.
the other one that we're talking about, and that one's an $8,000 profit, right?
Uh, yes, nine actually, nine
Nine.
as
Okay.
well.
And
Yeah,
then there's that other one too, right? That you're still negotiating with where it should be
yeah.
a
The
15.
deed. There is one where the deed one that we talked about. They want to do a quick claim deed, I think, and
Yep.
then there's another one that we just submitted to the builder that I'm JVing with Cole on as well. He brought
Another
the deal
one.
to me. Yeah.
And how much is
So
that profit?
that one is about seven and a half, 8K. So
So pending, obviously, fingers crossed that all these go through.
yeah,
Realistically, been sending out campaigns for what, about a month?
a month. Yeah,
And that's so you have the 2,000 plus
yeah,
9,000 plus
yeah,
8,000.
yeah.
So
And then
2,000,
1800,
11,000, 19,000, and then another 8,000. Is that what you said?
1800 for the first Arizona deal that's closing this Friday.
Yep. So that's
And one more that I closed today, actually. Just waiting for the papers to be signed in Okeechobee, I believe.
yep.
So that's a funny story too. So I had the lot locked up at 26, and I last week on the call, I'm like, I just threw it in the chat for Jackson to see, and he's like, "Oh, you need to be at 18." But I'm like, all right, let me check the market out. And what I did, I saw there was a lot right next door that somebody bought 3 weeks ago. I called the agent up. I'm like, hey, I have a lot right next door. Is your owner looking to buy? They bought it at 58 because it was ready and stuff. And this lot that I have, it's dry, but it's not like there needs to be work.
Yeah.
And I just sold that for 30. So I made 4K on that. Like it
Awesome.
was pretty, yeah.
So
I ended up, yeah,
realistically, when
yeah,
all of these are closed in about 3, 4 weeks, you've been sending campaigns out for about a month, and that's 24,000
yeah,
in profit.
yeah, yeah,
Sick, dude. That's awesome.
yeah,
What I
yeah.
mean, what were your expectations coming in? Like, did you think that that was something you'd be able to do your first month, or
I still remember my first call with you when I told them I told you guys I want to make 70K a month, and you guys were like, "That's it," and I'm like, "Wait, we can make more."
how long do you really think before you get to that point right now?
I think maybe another month or two,
That's awesome, man.
another month or two, yeah, because like obviously in the beginning it's tough because you're just starting off. So the first few weeks, I don't really count them as like, oh, I didn't make any deal because I was still learning the market. I was still
Right.
learning how to comp. But now, I mean, I'm still learning. But again, now I'm able to move my feet a little bit, talk to builders. I have a couple of builders. Like again, how Cole brought me 2 deals, right? I just because I had a builder in unique market, I made 30% on those deals. You know,
And
so again, that's
it's
just
sick to see this now because again, we had this same conversation right about a month and a half ago, and it was the
yeah,
conversation of you saying I want to make 70K a month, and at the time you
yeah,
obviously believed it, but you
yeah,
thought it was a stretch, right? But now I can see
exactly,
that
yeah,
you're confidently telling me you're going to make 70K in a month, and I absolutely believe that, and I know you do too.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that's pretty
for
sick.
sure, yeah, for sure, man.
And then so again, we kind of touched on this, but so how quickly before you started seeing kind of your first deal? Because people like want to know how long does it take to get my first deal?
So
How quickly can I get money back from when you
yeah,
started
so
campaigns, which was what about realistically, if somebody gets everything done within about a week and starts
yeah,
sending campaigns, how quickly do you think before they can get a deal?
so actually, I don't know if you remember, but my first day of setting campaigns, I had a deal,
Yeah.
which is still going on. I have it under contract. It's just the probate is taking about 2 months,
Okay.
but within the 11 hours of setting campaigns, I
Yeah.
had my first
Yeah.
deal.
We helped you sell that one. That
Even
was that a
yeah,
5,000 profit, I believe?
yeah, for 5,400 or
So
4,900,
realistically,
something
you've
like
done
that.
about 30K in escrow.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, and then that's the one Jackson actually called the buyer. I don't know if you remember, but he
Yeah,
called the
that was
buyer,
sick.
and
Awesome.
she was like, "Oh, I have another lot." So I ended up being from 2,200 to like 4,900 profit for me. But I'm keeping in touch with that buyer
And
too.
that was
She just
first
told me
campaign we you sent out.
that was the very first
Crazy.
campaign in
Off of how
Lehigh
many
Acres.
messages?
I think that was like 1,000 people list that I sent out.
And those messages cost you what, like $30? Because it's like 2 cents a text
Not
really
even.
off of the plan.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah. So
1,000
that
texts,
was
you got back 4,900.
yep, yep.
Crazy. Cool.
It
And
is
then
crazy.
it
It
really
seems
is, right?
too
And this again, this is
simple.
like
Yeah.
that's why it's cool to have this conversation now after having it with you the first time because I told you all these things, right? Jackson told you all these things,
Yeah.
but it's hard for you to
Yeah.
believe until you really see it, right?
You have to be in the market yourself to believe and actually see how crazy simple it is to make, you know, easy money like 70K, 80K, 90K,
A
you
month,
know, like
which
that.
is
So
crazy money.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
That's
exactly.
$1 million a
You're
year.
just one good deal away. One good deal away. That's
And
it.
you've seen it. You said you almost hit
And
a
then
six-figure deal on one deal,
yeah,
right?
and that was within the first 3 weeks. And I was like, wow. Like, but I didn't get discouraged because I'm like, I know if within the first 3 weeks of me trying, I can get this close. And it's just a matter of time. Maybe not in
100%.
2 months, maybe not in 3 months, maybe in like 6 months, I'll end up landing the 100K deal.
Yeah,
So
which is
you
game
just
changing.
gotta stick to the
That's when the big
process.
months start
Yeah,
to stack up. When you have your other deals in
yeah,
there and you hit $120,000 deal, and then it gets
yeah.
crazy. So
Totally,
if
totally.
somebody is on the fence about joining and trying to do this business, what would your
Yeah.
advice be?
I've been preaching about this to my friends for the past couple of weeks now that they're like, oh, we want to do it. I'm like, bro, it's never gonna be a right time. If you want to do something, just give it a shot. What's the worst that can happen? Like, you know, we spend so much money on stupid stuff, buying, you know, clothes, this and that. So if it's something that can really change your life, I think it's totally worth it. You should at least give it a chance. And then also like if it's proven, it's not like it's just something that's starting now. It's been proven. There are people that are actually doing this, for years now. Like you guys have been doing it for a couple of years now, and the profits are crazy. So I don't see a reason why anybody should hold themselves back. Within a month or two, you'll see the results. Within the first month, all depends on how dedicated you are, right? So I listened to, I joined two of those sessions with Grayson, and
Yep.
he talks about sending 5,000 to 6,000 campaigns every day, which I'm trying to do now. I'm like,
Yeah, his
the
the amount of
more,
texts he sends out is crazy. He just showed me his dashboard. He sent out like
yeah,
175,000 this year already.
yeah, mine is up to 120.
Really? That's
So
it.
yeah, I got
Yeah,
to
just
120,
keep
but
doing that, and
yeah,
it'll be
yeah, yeah. So I mean, it's it's game. So like it's some I would recommend anybody. Like I'm even trying to put my brother, my friends. I'm like, it's never gonna be too simple. But again, it's not for everybody. Some
right.
people, it depends on your interest. If you're into real estate, I have two friends that are real estate agents for past 2 years, and they never even thought about these things. They never thought about how else they can make money. For them, it's just okay, list a house, get the
Yeah,
commission, and boom, that's it. So, but yeah, I think it's something that I would recommend anybody.
sweet. Well, I
It's life
appreciate it. And
changing.
we'll do another follow-up call in probably a month or two and just kind of recap again because I'm sure where you were a month ago with this to where you are now.
Yeah,
We have a
yeah,
call in 2, 3 months. I'm sure it'll be insane. We'll probably be doing six
yeah,
figures at that point, to be honest, if you keep
yeah,
keep doing what you've been doing.
for sure, man.
Totally in
Yeah,
Hawaii too, which is crazy.
yeah, I
A
know.
lot of these
Yeah,
deals are in Hawaii.
yeah, I know. It's crazy that my first couple of deals are coming out of Hawaii. So again, that's a market. Um, I thought people would be hitting, but they weren't hitting as aggressively. So, which also sort of gave me a leeway because I got in there a bit early into that market. So I was able to make some connections with the builders, even with some buyers. So it's just a matter of time. It's just, you know, once you get your first deal, it all just starts clicking, man. It's just the first deal. You got to get off the mark, and then that's it. Boom.
Exactly. And then
Yeah.
it's just rinse and repeat.
Yeah. Totally.
Sick. Well, cool. I really appreciate it, man. It was nice to
Yeah.
talk to you. I'm sure we'll be talking over the coming days and weeks and so, but
For sure.
congratulations. Seriously, that's amazing. And as soon as
Yeah,
the
man.
deals are starting to close, what you said they're starting Friday, which
Yeah.
is cool.
Yeah.
Like we talked about this morning, just reinvesting and it's gonna snowball quick. So I'm excited
For
to see
sure.
it and congratulations, seriously, and keep up
Yeah.
sending the text because you're one of the few people that really are sending the amount of text that you should be, and I think you're seeing the
Right.
results.
Yeah. Thanks, man. I
So
appreciate
yeah,
you guys for
sweet.
the help too.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
We'll be in touch.